Habib, it's an absolute delight to have you here this morning. Been really looking forward to this.
Thank you, Bob. It's always a pleasure to connect with you, and I always look forward to my interactions with you.
I thought that might be best for our listeners if you sort of started this off by sharing a little bit of a life bio. Tell us who you are by telling us a little bit of your story.
All right. I describe myself as a citizen of the world. I was born in Asia and spent the first few years of my life in Bangladesh. Then we moved to Europe, and I did middle school and part of my high school in England. And then we immigrated to the United States, and I finished up high school and went to college and worked there for the subsequent 35 years in various parts of the United States and elsewhere. I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and an MBA in marketing, finance, and org behavior. And I've been working for a large energy company for more than the last 30 years. Bit of jack of all trade, master of none, if you will. Operations, technology, sales, marketing, strategy, planning, digital innovation, and business transformation. And it's been a great journey. I've worked in the United States, Europe, and Asia, including 12 years in Singapore. Along the way, I met my extraordinary wife, Farah, and we've been married for 28 years. And we have two children, two boys, 24 and 19. But I would say, if you want to know a little bit about me, what really defines me is the immigrant journey, Bob. We came to the United States in the early 80s, literally with $2 in our pocket and nothing else, and a desire to work hard and do well. And, we came in through John F. Kennedy instead of Ellis Island, but we drove by the Statue of Liberty. And the immigrant experience is one and the same for us as a family. And what we experienced, what I saw, was my parents and my sister and I just go through extraordinary hardship as we established ourselves to do better in a new country, in a new culture, in a new environment. And I saw my mom and dad just work harder than anyone should ever have to, suffer in many ways than anyone should ever have to. And that really defined my journey in many ways, gave me a PTSD-like experience, a mindset, where I formed this view pretty early on in my journey that there might be a smarter person in the room, but there was not going to be one who works harder than me. And that really defined me for the next 30 plus years.
That is just about the best introduction I could imagine. That I think we know who you are now. Now, I think very, very consistent with that introduction is you someplace early in that journey, became oriented to the notion of purpose. Tell us a little bit about purpose, what it is to you, where it came from, why you feel as you do about it.
Yeah, that's a great question, Bob. That PTSD-like mindset of working hard so my family will never have to suffer or experience the hardship that we experienced really defined me for the next 20 years. If anyone asked me, what's your hobby? Do you golf? Do you do this? Do you do that? And I would say, I really have two passions in my life, my family and my job. And I really have no time for anything else. And I don't really apologize for it. But, if I'm truthful, it was probably 60-40 tilted towards the job and professional success because of what I said. So when I entered my 40s, I had been by any definition, very successful professionally and personally. And I began to think about the balance of my time on this planet, the balance of my career before I hang up my boots. And I really started to ask the question, why am I doing what I'm doing? And at the end of the day, what is a life worth living? Is it just taking care of your family and just working very hard, or is there more? So that really triggered the thinking around purpose. And that started a whole round of reflection, which was, I found very helpful in shaping my journey down the road since then.
And that phrase of a round of reflection, I have the reflections that this is a truly deep sentence in your life. And in fact, I think our conversation first started around that notion, where you told me a story about actually taking time and going out and searching around purpose. And I'm wondering if you could share that story with all of us today.
Yeah. So this question of how do I want to spend the balance of my time on this planet kept surfacing in my mind. I tried reflecting on it. I tried going for long walks. I tried quiet reflection time just to try to answer that, deeply, thoughtfully. And I found, the world we live in, the small tactical things that surround us all the time really get in the way of deeply reflecting and getting to your core on that. So, so I decided to take a time out, travel to the Himalayas with some good friends on a 14-day hike. It was going to be about a 150-kilometer hike from a place called Lutla in Nepal to the Mount Everest base camp. And the idea was the following morning we'd wake up very, very early and go on a long hike towards a summit called Kalapathar. And along the way, we would see the sunrise from behind Mount Everest. And that would be something spectacular, once in a lifetime type experience. And as this was happening, Bob, at that kind of altitude, you have about half the oxygen that you have at sea level. So altitude sickness started to kick in for all of us a little bit. Headache, feeling of nauseousness. And it starts to affect you. So that night when I stayed at that tea house, I had this moment, which is what I imagine I might experience whenever I leave this planet. I had this moment of hyperventilation, short of breath, short of oxygen. And I just woke up in the middle of the night, just in a terrible situation. And I said to myself, if you don't calm down right now, you might die. You need to just settle down. So I settled myself. And that bout with mortality, I think, stripped all a lot of the superficial things that keep us from getting to our core. So when we woke up really early the following morning and we started our long hike towards Kalapathar, it was freezing cold, so cold that all our water lines and water in our thermos had frozen, and we were all wearing 4 or 5 layers of clothing to stay warm. It was a hard journey, and you reach a point where your body physically doesn't feel like going any further, but you have to will yourself to go. And my friends who are with me kind of, they describe me as someone who was just in the zone, kind of just moving one step at a time, just moving forward, not talking to anyone, just in the zone, reflecting. And as that happened, as we got closer to the peak, several people dropped out, decided, okay, now the altitude sickness and the hardship is, too much. Let's pause and stop here. But I kept going. And my good friend Ravi, who went with me, described me as a machine who was just going, kept moving forward. So I kept moving forward. And along the way, I met this Aussie fella. And, he said to me, it's better to have tried and failed than not to have tried at all. I don't think I'm going to make it. But I tried. And I pulled out an energy gel from my pocket and I gave it to him. I said, yes, you're going to make it, my friend. And you come with me, take this energy gel back, and we'll get there together. So we started just moving forward together. And eventually we did make it to the summit of that particular peak. And when I got there, I felt very different. I felt that there was a lot going on in my head that I needed to record and process later. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on in my head, but there was a lot going on. So I said to my Aussie friend, would you mind recording my stream of consciousness? I'm not sure exactly what will come out, but it's something I feel I ought to record and process later. So he said, of course. And that led to this video, which turned out to be a deep, deep reflection of my inner self and what drives me.
Out here, in this magnificence of nature, I've been reflecting, trying to find the meaning of life, have more clarity on what life is all about. And during this climb, I think I found it. I think a life worth living is a life that gives happiness to people. A life worth living brings joy, brings people together. A life worth living celebrates the family, brings it together. A life worth living pursues success passionately. A life worth living gives a lot more than it takes. A life worth living gives back to the people who need more and who have less than you're blessed with. And for the rest of my life, that's the life I intend to pursue. That's what I intend to pursue. That's my other shore. That's my mission. That's my call. I love my family, and I will pursue what I said passionately until my last dying breath. That's what I will do.
When I went through the video initially was, professional success was important, but it was fourth in my hierarchy. Bringing happiness, joy to people, taking care of the family, and all of those were well ahead. And that was a real powerful window to my core values. And it's really helped me since then, Bob. And I translated those insights after a good discussion with my wife, who is really brilliant and a wonderful human being. We tried to translate these into actions and choices that we make as a family. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Some of these are, personal, so I won't go into them, but, I'll give you a few examples. Taking care of the family means setting them up for success. So my wife and I told our children and our nieces and nephews, we have 2 kids and 5 nieces and nephews, look, you will not leave college with a college loan. So, get your education and we will take care of your college loans so you can start your life, unburdened, and you can pursue your journey with vigor. Vacations, you can always take really nice vacations if you go as a couple or in a small group, but we always take family vacation and we always invite an extended member of the family. In fact, just a couple of days ago, my sister-in-law and her family went back. They came from Asia and we had a wonderful family vacation together. We always bring someone from the family together when we go on vacation rather than just do it among the four of us. And we really find tremendous amount of joy in that. Recently, I've started to do a lot of pro bono support advising to a new way, basically a digital ecosystem that helps substance abuse and addiction victims, their families and their friends find solutions and find service providers who can help them. So the journey on the revelation on the mountain really did trigger a bunch of tactical choices at our personal end, and really for the better. And even professionally, I used to always be very driven and focused on professional success, and the mindset shifted from perfectionism and towards more excellence and passion and doing the right thing. And that revelation really changed who I am and how I think and how I behave, and really for the better. And I'm thankful I went on that trip.